All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and I am here with an esteemed guest. We have APGains joining us for the first time on this channel. I just want to say a massive shout out that I never thought I'd be on a video with this guy, so this is super cool for me. So, AP, how we doing, man?
I fucking hate it when people do that.
I listen.
Oh wait, this is your. I can't swear on your videos. So 1 second, let's redo that.
That's fine. Just leave
Sorry.
it. It's fine. It's fine.
They don't actually demonetize you. Don't worry. So remember, it's fake news, propaganda.
But how's it going, man? Like we got all the news, right? We covered that part one on your channel. Link down below, guys. You can go see part one if you haven't seen that first. Got to make sure we do that. I'm bad about it too.
Yes. It's okay. No one loves me anyway.
So I want to ask you something here with this. So your ship's only defense in Grand Arena. This just like it bothers me so much that it works, and I say that with like all due respect that like it bothers me so much that it works. Because if I did that, like I would lose every single GAC ever.
Well, it doesn't always work. It's like I'm like a mini Colin Cowherd, if you get that reference. I have to turn everything in life into analogy.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know. I can't white person enough right now to think of a good analogy. It's like really hot here and I'm tired and I'm dehydrated and this is the hottest room in the entire house. So basically if you realize it would work, it works 100% of the time. You can look at your opponent and just see that it works and you know you win.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing they can do about it. It's the greatest thing ever. And I've gotten a lot of, I won't swear a second time on this video, but I've gotten a lot of pushback, if you will, from a lot of other people who are high status Galaxy of Heroes players who are just like, oh, that's not how I play Grand Arena, and I don't care. I like winning, and I've made peace with it.
That's because I was gonna say like it works. That's the problem. Like like you can't knock something that works because like I mean I think we're both up. You probably have a lot worse than I do because like if you have to face 11 million people, like that's who I'm facing, and I at least have a little bit more. But I still don't believe that. I shouldn't say I don't believe. I can't believe that it works as often as it does because people should know counters by now.
I mean, it works. It works in like a certain, like there has to be criteria met. Like it would not work at the Kyber 2, even probably like high Kyber 3, Kyber 2, Kyber 1.
Yeah.
Because at that point, your opponents have everything and the advantage is nullified because they also have ships.
Yes. Yeah.
It works from like pretty much as soon as you get Executor to like Kyber 4-ish.
Yeah.
So basically from the bottom of the game to Kyber 4. And it's just the simple math of how the GAC board breaks down is like, if you full clear and they don't full clear, even if you give them perfect banners in the character zones, it doesn't matter because the bonuses from the zones are high enough.
Yes.
That they mathematically can't beat you. And most people who don't take GAC seriously but have huge GP and characters neglect ships.
Yes.
And it is a huge weakness. And, you know, I think my biggest problem is that for the last year or so, I've been much less serious about GAC than I have been for the rest of my Swago career. So my biggest problem is I'll deploy it like week 1 of like a GAC month, not like at the very beginning of it, like the first GAC we have coming up here in a week or so. I'll deploy it and then I just won't change my defense. And then there'll be like of the 9 battles, like 3 of them would be where like you can use a fleet only defense, and then the other 6 would be like someone who has all GLs and all ships, and it doesn't work. And then like I will fall more than I would just playing normally because I forget to change my GAC defense and I basically give them a free win. So it's a high risk, high reward, but when you know it works 100% of the time.
I get it. I mean, as I've tried like other little things here and there, and it never. I mean, obviously it never works. But you know, I did want to ask just so I want to go briefly back to everybody's. Where the heck is this thing at? On the forums, those massive packs that everybody loves. Where are they at? I had it up here for a second. Because the question I had, I don't know that we got to this in the first part, and I did want to bring it up today, is, so I've got it up here now. There we go. So do you think that these packs, we said that like, oh, imagine you just grinded for all these things and now it like sucks. But I'm thinking of like your guys like Arnold, who are in, and maybe not Arnold's a great example, but those players in low Kyber 1, high Kyber 2, who spend money regularly, do you think this hurts them? Where the advantage that they had over players, and I'm going to throw myself as the example just because like this is where I'm at. Like I go from being 2 GLs down to some of these guys to now 1, or I was GL Ray down to them. Now I have the same amount and all I had to do is this little pack. Like, do you think that that de-incentivizes them to spend money now that they don't have that clear advantage anymore?
I don't think so. I actually know it doesn't. I'd say at around Kyber 2 is probably the cutoff. Like, this may be getting too much into the weeds of Galaxy of Heroes YouTuber drama, and so I guess your viewers will get the fun scoop of background Squiggle lore. But one of the biggest like back and forths between me and a lot of people, because most Galaxy of Heroes content from the dawn of time has been from the end game perspective.
Yes.
And so I've historically gotten a ton of pushback from other creators because of the things that I say that, while apply to the 95% of players who don't exist at the top, doesn't apply at the top. Like, for example, I've long preached that you don't really need to try too hard with mods, and this is even pre-Datacrons, because for 95% of the players, unless you're a Giga Whale endgame player, 90% game theory optimal modding is more than enough for the rest of your career, because you're never going to be at the level of the people that like Donalds have spent probably 60,000 at this point, and all of those other guys who are in the tops of Kyber ones have spent comparable, if not way more. There are people spending $100,000+ a month on this game, which is wild. But I don't think something like this affects Kyber 2, Kyber 1. I think it very much affects Kyber 5, Kyber 4, Kyber 3.
Okay.
Because like my opponents right now have on average a 5 to 6 GL advantage over me on average.
Yep.
And cutting that down to 3 to 4 is a much bigger gap than someone who has everything maxed out with perfect modding with 300+ defense datacrons across the board, who's planned it out and who knows the counters. Like, you having probably initially a very poorly modded SLKara and Ray, because your mod, development probably can't handle getting like 12 new characters all at the exact same time.
No, not even a little bit. Like,
yeah, so I don't think it matters for them, because at that point in the game, like, the game is won in different avenues than just having characters. I often I'm sorry for talking so much,
no,
but
you're
this
good.
is something that I'm passionate about for some reason. I've often told people that this game is chess, but it's two different forms of chess. In Kyber 1 or Kyber 2 and Kyber 1, or however you want to signify whatever the top echelon of people is, it's just a straight up game of chess where there's other it's more like 3D chess, because there's mods and datacrons and all these other factors. But it's like you all have the same pieces on a standard board, and you have to outskill your opponent by doing different things to take advantage of them, like a normal game of chess. For everyone else, for the 95 to 98% of players who don't fall into these Giga Whale categories, it's a game of chess, but the game starts like with an empty board, and you have to carve your pieces meticulously by hand, like in the Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
And no two players ever have the same pieces. And the rules can be different. Like, I can go fleet only, or you can do a stonewall defense, or you can go efficiency only offense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the rules are never the same. The pieces are never the same. And it takes you freaking forever to carve the pieces. And you have to know years in advance, like, I need to make this piece for this, and I need to start prepping this other stuff like months, if not years in advance. And it's a wildly different game.
Yes.
So I think there's kind of two different parts of this game, and I don't think the end game players are going to care one bit that normal players are getting an SLKR or a Ray or something for $10.
No, that's because my argument on the other side of it would be that like those guys who were, because I always viewed it as like players who are a year behind those players who have everything. We just got a huge boost of not only, like, you just think, it's not just like, oh, they gave us the relics. Like, they're giving us the Kyratex and all these other things. Like, all this stuff that, the only other area I'm going to be poor on besides the mods is Zetas. Like, Zetas and Omicrons, because I'm, like, sitting here looking at my...
I didn't think about that. I'll have, like, 30% of the Zetas I need for Ray and SLKR.
I'm, like, looking at I have a Relic 7 Ben solo, thanks to Platoon, Operations for Rise of the Empire, with all the Zetas, but no Omicrons, and I'm getting Riva this TB, so Like
Oh, me too.
there goes three Omicrons, and I have like 100. I have 130 saved right now, and I'm like, if I got Ray, I have to equip like three more Omicrons, and I don't have anything.
Dude,
Like
this is going to be a really weird niche case that's making me kind of happy, but I'm sure you'll get a kick out of this. I know you can't see my screen right
hold
now,
up.
and if I share my screen, I would have to hide my face if I were to share my screen. Um, but my first order faction is everyone is at 7 stars except for Hux, and first order Stormtrooper.
Hold on.
But they're all at gear. They're all at whatever you get them from the hyperdrive bundle.
Can you see?
Um,
Am I sharing my screen with you?
I would have to move
Your
something to
but
be able
is
to.
your all right? Is your ally code 616-485-783?
Something like that. I don't know. Am I
Jerry
7.2
Mc
million?
is Jerry
Yeah, Jerry Mc.
McSuper. Yeah, Jerry McSuper. I made sure not to type that whole thing in my Google. I pulled
Yeah.
up your GG. So because I was like,
Look at my first order of team. I'm gonna get a lot of value out of this first order high pilot Omicron that I've been holding on to for years at
you know,
this point.
you know what's even better? You don't get Sith Trooper in that bundle, and you already have him done
Which one's Sith? Well, Sith Trooper is required for
for Leviathan, but you already have him done. But
Yeah.
you don't get him as part of that bundle that they put out. If you didn't notice that, they excluded
Oh,
him from.
I thought they. All right, I gotta pull up this thing.
Yeah,
I thought they excluded.
no,
No, he's in there. He's in there at 5 for the
Is he?
BB-8 bundle.
Oh,
Yeah,
for the
he's in
B.
there at 5.
Is he? I missed him. I thought he wasn't in there.
Yeah, he's a sneaky little bugger. No, they don't give you Vet Han. He's in the Ray bundle, and they don't give you Palp.
Which makes sense because he's a journey guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are getting so much value out of it. You're gonna your first order TIE pilot with Omicron at like gear 3.
Oh yeah, baby. I think that's the gear you have to have to actually apply the Omicron. I did it for Scramba Ren, shout out, just because he loves that. Look, let's take a gander at my resistance.
Because you started, you didn't at least start like you at least started relics on these guys.
I did 3 of them to gear 13 because I was at one point for like a month farming Ray, and then Leia got announced and Leviathan got announced, and I was like, I'm not farming Ray. It turned out to be a great decision. There's a universe where I'm about to unlock Leia, for reference, and there's a universe where I am about to unlock a Ray, and instead I can just buy her, which is way better because I just bought myself dinner because I've been super overworked and I don't normally eat out, but dinner for me was $30 and probably like 37 after taxes and tips and stuff like that.
So that was your Radis and your
Yeah, that was my Radis.
bundle.
That was my entire Resistance team and fleet that I just consumed tonight. So
now
we're
you need to
in a
get the
different era.
Conquest Plus pass because you're gonna have to get Ben Solo for Ray.
I think I almost have Ben Solo.
Okay.
I don't have Zori, which is sad. He's Ufu, right?
Yeah, Ben Solo's a Ufu. Yeah, Zori. Yeah, your Zori's only. I have Zori.
Yeah,
I've been slow farming Zori. I have her 6-star because I'm going for Ray right after Leia, so I'm like forcing myself to farm her. So I'm like super like proud of that moment right now that like I'm gonna have Zori really quickly.
Yeah, my Ben Solo's at 304 out of 330, so I'll probably have to just grab him next time Proving Grounds comes around.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, dude. This is what my cheeky little 12 million opponents are gonna have to deal with. I'm gonna get, in the span of call it 2 months, I'm gonna get Riva, Malicos, Cal Kestis, Leia, SLKR, Ray, Ben, and when they add Ray 5 for the Resistance fleet, I'll grab that too.
Now, how are you gonna use Riva? Because your Inquisitors.
Wait, are you showing my Inquisitors right now? What's wrong with my Inquisitors?
Fifth brother looks like he's like gear 9.
Do I even have Fifth Brother? Oh, I do have him at 7 stars. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm going to Relic 7 Riva, and I'm just going to run her with Gear 8 Inquisitors at 5 stars.
I mean, I respect
3 stars,
it.
actually.
It's still gonna stop people. That's the funny part. Like if they like you,
I think that.
you're gonna have to bring Treya against that team, and it's gonna piss people
No,
off.
I'm just gonna. Is she an Ufu?
Yeah, they're all Ufus.
I'm just gonna put her with Malicos.
Ooh.
I'm gonna run Seer Junda, Third Sister, Malicos.
Did she get a
Maul?
Did she get a pre-taunt?
I have no idea. I don't even know. I don't know what her kit does, to be perfectly honest with you. I have never read it once.
Hold on, I'm about to read it on video right now. Let's see. Where's her unique? reduced health,
Just
all that garbage. Uh, Welling Grand Arenas. This stuff. I swear you need a PhD to read kits nowadays.
yeah, it's ridiculous. That's why I just don't read them.
Whenever an enemy. No, I don't see anything about her gaining. That kind of sucks if she doesn't gain a pre-taunt.
Yeah, but like when you see a random Sirjunda Malikos Maul
Oh, yeah,
Viva
it's-
team on defense, like what you know what I mean? And it's next to like 3 other Galactic Legends that are brand new.
Well,
I'll
that's like
I'll sneakily put it next to my Leia and my GL Thrawn with my Dark Trooper Moff Gideon.
because I've been starting to farm Seer, like, because I'll get Malikos in 6 Conquest, because I don't. I always aim for box 6, and that way I don't have to, like, super. Like, if there's a Conquest like Fury class, I went hard, but, like, otherwise I just do box 6, and if I can do that for 6 Conquest straight, I get a character 7-star anyway. So I'll get Malikos, and then I don't even know what I'll do with him.
Yeah, I used to go hard on the Conquest characters, and then this last year I've just been unbelievably busy, and I just stopped caring. So whatever 3 characters we got this last year, I just have not cared about them. I got Fury class again because I love ships and I wanted Leviathan, but
So, like,
I didn't do Ben. I didn't do
Trench.
Malikos. I definitely didn't do Trench.
Which
I don't
is-
even think I have like. I think I have like 100 Trench shards, maybe.
My Trench is 7-star and level 1 gear 1.
Oh yeah, my Boba Fett, my fat Boba is level 1 gear 1
I wish
at 7 stars.
I wish I could say that. Mine's Relic 7.
Well, I have this unholy alliance with my guild where like they don't kick me, and then I don't bring anything to the table. It used to be that I'm the cool YouTuber, but I think they've gotten past the point, the novelty of that. So now I think it's just like, if we kick him, he might go into cardiac arrest, and do we want his blood on our hands? So I think they just kind of are stuck with me at this point, which is sad, but there's nothing you can really do about it, I guess.
Okay, so I want to move on to this next one here, because this is a big, so we just got Marauder, right? We got the Marauder kit. It's in game now.
Oh, I forgot about that. And I'll have Marauder.
Yeah, so you have Marauder with Bad Batch, so you got to have your Bad Batch, and the Endurance rework. And the thing that scares the living crap out of me is, what the hell are we going to do with our Negotiator fleet?
What do you mean?
Because, so they talk, because like the Y-Wing, right? They talk like, oh, you want all these clones, but like if Y-Wing ends up being really good with the Endurance, what do you do with the Negotiator at that point? Because, like, I mean, I'm sitting at the point where, like, I've got a Gear 9 Plo Koon because I just rely on him as, like, a reinforcement. But I have other damage from, like, 5s coming in off the bench. Like, if 5s is with Endurance, like, people's Negotiator fleets are going to fall apart pretty quickly.
I mean, I don't really think it's going to matter. I think we've gotten to a point where, like, you're going to have, like, 4 ships per fleet. And when they add an extra bonus node for fleets, I think people would rather have a usable fleet than, like, oh, my Negotiator is slightly... Because realistically, in Negotiator battles, like, I imagine you're not going to take the sandwich away from Negotiator. You're going to go sandwich... Probably sandwich Anakin and
Ahsoka.
like Ahsoka with Plo Koon as the one reinforcement, and it's gonna do like 80% of, you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna be a huge deal.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be fighting like the Radis fleet before the Ray 5 comes to the game, or you're gonna be fighting like Malevolence or something like that.
Yeah. I just think it's like it's definitely going to hurt your Negotiator fleet for some players, because like a lot of us would rely on that, like especially myself. You rely on that 5's AoE to come in and destroy people with all that target lock. Now you're going to get that with your Endurance, but Negotiator kind of just seems to getting crapped on again.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to have thinner fleets. Me and everyone else believes that they're eventually gonna up the fleet zones, and I don't know at what threshold they're gonna do that for. I think it's gonna be all of Kyber. A lot of people think it's just gonna be Kyber 1. I think it'd be kind of lame if it's just Kyber 1. That seems kind of stupid, but
Good news is we can all get our Ray fleet up and running for $10.
dude, Ray 5 incoming.
Ooh, you think Ray 5?
You heard it here. I mean, it was like leaked like 8 months ago or something like that. Not 8 months. It was leaked like 5 months ago.
Ray 5 or Red 5?
Ray 5. Yeah, so the
Oh.
prevailing the leak was. You remember when Cassian's Omicron came out and it was like a test?
Yes.
That you could give Omicrons to whatever the fuck that's called, PVE character. Sorry, I swear again, PVE characters. It's just how I talk. I apologize. Um, I have the glorious F word on an Arnold video once, which was my greatest achievement. Um, what was I saying? I totally lost my. Oh, so yeah, so that was a test to see if they could get the ship because it was going to be piloted by CLS and Ray, Galactic Legend Ray, and you were going to be able to use it both on, like a Rebel team with Home One as well as a Resistance team with the Radis, and that was going to help you with PVE events. And so they tested out the could we get a character to transform how it looks with Cassian. And then I think with the Rex, they were testing out, is it a good idea to have kits that work with like multiple call-outs that are totally different from each other?
Yes.
And then now with being able to get basically everything that you would need for Ray 5, her and her ship for basically nothing, I think it's pretty inevitable that it comes in the next 6-ish months.
Because I was thinking we're going to get Padme's ship. Or like
that'd be cool. I mean,
like a boost like something else to boost up Negotiator because I can't envision this fleet with only 4 real ships. Like I'm not even counting Jedi Consular as a viable ship right now. Like it just is. Like I can't.
I mean, they would likely do a rework. I imagine they would do a rework for some of the worst ships that are not clones to make the Negotiator team better. And then they would bring the clones to there, and then they would end up adding I've been saying this for years at this point. They would add. This was well before we knew Trench was coming. I just said insert new Separatist, but now obviously it looks like it's going to be Trench. So yeah, I mean, I have long thought for years at this point that they were just going to do some reworks and add some strategic characters so that they could have, more fleets so that they could expand the board a little bit. For those end game players. So I imagine we're going to get a combination of new characters from either upcoming Bad Batch seasons / future seasons of Tales of the Jedi, and then an extra capital ship for the Separatists to kind of expand that out as we eventually add more capital ships once every year.
That makes
Can you hear my dogs barking, by the way?
Oh yeah, I mean I get it in mine. Mine go way louder than that. Like interrupting entire videos.
Well, there's like 3 doors in like a long hallway. I can't. It's part of my DNA. I can't help it. And don't worry, it doesn't affect your monetization.
If you join the Discord, you would see another side of like the words I use on YouTube are not the words I use in my everyday life. I have to be very.
I did the same
careful.
thing, but because I always thought that it would affect your money. And then I did like a year-long test of like ad rev across different videos, whether or not how I listed them versus what I said in them. And YouTube doesn't care. They don't even, I think they know, but they just do not care.
Maybe I change that. Maybe make stuff easier, but
I was gonna say,
if I start,
we can talk about CPM and RPM, but that's a PP podcast. That's a PP podcast topic.
So yeah, I mean, I think if they expanded ships to 4, that would actually help those...
The fleet-only defense?
It would really help your fleet-only... It could help it or it could hurt it. Because if you have to set 4 fleets, some people are just going to be like, I'm going to bring all my best fleets on offense and screw my defense.
Yeah, but like if the fleet-only defense is not like what they say for offense and what they say for defense. It's that they just don't have the fleets. Like... If I realize that if they take everything for offense and they can't beat Profundity Executor and Leviathan, I know that I've won because they're always going to leave one of them on defense.
Yeah.
Right?
That's such a...
And if they leave one of them on defense, they can't win, and I eat their lunch.
And
it's also a much more fun way to play because you get your entire roster on offense, which no one can ever do. I have so much fun doing Grand Arena. I haven't streamed a GAC in like 3 years, but I have so much fun.
I 1000% play worse when I try to stream or record my GACs. It is like inevitable that I will play so much worse doing that than if I just play.
I feel like I play better live for some reason.
No, I always end up playing worse. For some reason, whenever I'm like, I get to think more, I'm not paying attention, like I don't have a distraction, I can just focus on it. But like,
I'm the exact opposite. I go hog wild when I play by myself.
But I do think it's really funny you mentioned like you get to use your whole roster because I've never used Darth Malgus on offense in GAC. I've never.
Dude, it's so fun. You can annihilate everything. It's so fun. You just put it on. I auto most of my offensive battles at this point,
Same with like I've
which
never
is
used Lord Vader in a GAC. Jabba's never been on offense in a GAC, which is the Jabba. I mean,
you're missing out, man. This
I
is why I tell people to farm fleets.
I've got all the, but I have. I mean, I have a 6-star profundity because I'm poor, but
Okay, I have a 6-star profundity.
it works just fine. That's the problem. Like, and they nerfed.
That's why I love executive profundity because they work no matter what.
Yeah, Leviathan. I didn't do a crystal refresh for a month. That was brutal.
That's the way it's got to be, man.
But no, man. I mean, I think that got to that. I had that got through my list of questions. I think between part one, part two, we put together a pretty decent thing here. What
I had a little heart attack. I looked over at my OBS. I'm like, oh no, I'm not recording.
if you all right? I want to ask one last thing. It should be quick. Is Core 8 still your mantra, or are we changing the tune on that?
Like, am I changing what it's called, or do I no longer agree with the philosophy?
Do you no longer agree with the philosophy that you need to farm Core 8 first?
No, of course I think it's still the best thing to do. Like, the biggest complaints I get from people who go in like these weird niche, very specific areas is like, oh dude, my dog just kicked me in the balls. Sorry. Is that like there are avenues of the game that aren't open to you, whether it's a PvE event or a PvP counter or like literally anything. Like, there are certain characters that you need to fully play the game. And the reason they're core is like, yes, they're good on offense and defense and GAC, but like, if you have them, you can do everything in the game. You can get through hard conquest even if you don't have a GL. You can do most of the proving grounds easily. That wasn't even what I was talking about, but you can do proving grounds, which has become more valuable now that proving grounds is a thing. I mean,
Yep.
Core 8 has pre-existed proving grounds by a couple years. You can do all of the assault battles. You can do everything in the game with the Core 8. And when you do these weird niche specific things, you miss out on not only like resources and stuff, but like it's not as fun when you can't do everything that the game has to offer.
Now, would you say to go farm like your ships first, or still farm the Core 8? Like, because it's been a while since I've seen the farming guide. That's why I was asking.
Well, the farming guide doesn't really exist anymore because most people who watch it have already done stuff in the game. So I switched it more to like, this is how you should be thinking about how the game works, and you can make whatever boneheaded decision that you want to on your own dime, and I won't be responsible for it. It's more of a philosophy about how to approach the game than like, all right, when you hit level 30, you will start farming Arc Trooper. You know what I mean? Like, it has its merit, and I think it was good for its time, but now the game has expanded to the point where I don't think it's really valuable information anymore to be like, hey, do this and then this and then this, because like stuff changes, right? So it's kind of transcended to, these are the characters you need the Core 8 to do all of the things that you need to do. Here are the auxiliary characters or teams that you need to have more niche win cases in GAC / do other weirdly specific things in the game. Here are the backbone teams that are going to like carry you against the Giga Whales. Obviously, GL speak for themselves, but like every week, seemingly, there's something that changes the meta of the game. And if you get your hat stuck on, you must do this first, or you must do this first, you're just going to get kind of swept behind in the times. But if you can apply the philosophy and you realize like, oh, I have my Core 8, a couple auxiliary, 2 backbone teams. I just finished my first GL, whatever it happens to be. Maybe I have more backbone teams, so I went with an offensive GL like JML to get into the pyramid scheme of success, of sadness, of success. Maybe I have, more teams, so I have more offensive-based teams, so I have to go for a character that's defensive like Jabba or JMK. You understand how the game works, how you're going back to that chess analogy. You understand how everything works, and you have equipped yourself with the knowledge to say, oh, I'm hearing rumblings that Leviathan is going to come out. I think my fleets probably need a boost, and I think where I am in GAC could be advantaged by having slightly better fleets than my opponent, even at the cost of not having a Galactic Legend. I'll do this. Oh, I'm lacking on defensive GLs, and Jabba's got announced, so I really need to focus on that. It just gives you a better framework to be successful long-term without having to continuously come back to an AP Gains video that gets updated once a month saying, here's the new improved farming guide. And you're like, oh, I spent 6 months farming gas, and now gas is no longer on the farming guide. Am I out of luck?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I
so I've shifted that direction.
I just tell everybody go executor first because I don't think everybody realizes that I made this whole thing. I compared fleet income to GAC, and it's like Kyber. I think was it Kyber 4 or 5 of going 5 and 4 is when you make more from GAC than you do fleet arena if you get first place. So if you're like in a
Yeah,
new
I think
if you're in a new shard and you get first place, you're earning as many crystals as somebody going 5 and 4 at like Kyber 5.
the thing that I have focused on, because obviously when people say I'm going executive first, I at this point when people tell me anything, I just kind of say, okay, have fun.
Yeah.
I, this was kind of my argument back when, like Arnold's SLKR Rush farming guide first, like the very first iteration of it hit.
Yes.
I remember I was actually in my. I have grown to become great friends with Arnold and stuff like that, and luckily he admitted that it was never the best like GAC strategy. It was just like a way to get new players in and have a powerful character and exciting stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember being in my kitchen, and I'm like, Mom, should I like make a video talking about why this is a bad idea to rush SLKR? And she's like, no, that's stupid. I'm like, you're right. And we talk about it all the time, and I think we both kind of agree that farming guides don't really exist anymore, and it's more so just like, do you understand the game and can you keep up with whatever part of the era of the game that you currently exist in? So that's fine. But like the point I was trying to get to is, man, I realize when I'm on other people's channels, I talk way more than I talk on my own videos. That's crazy.
That's perfectly okay.
What I kind of arrived at was I had a like, I don't even know what to call it. Like what's that? Oh my God, I'm brain farting. What's the thing where like you go in and you like blindly test out product focus group? I had like a focus group of a couple hundred people on like a separate Discord, and I made them all like promise not to talk about it. A lot of them ended up leaking stuff from there. So very similar to CG, I shut it down because I was kind of upset because it got its way onto Swago events and stuff like that. And they're like, here's all of APGains' proprietary data that he like is saving for a video. But I'm like, man, I finally realized why CG hates leakers so much. But I was noticing that players who were experimenting with rush accounts, whether it would be SLKR back in the day or Executor more recently in previous last couple of years, was that those players were less active in Discord, which is not necessarily indicative of anything, but they seem to report having less fun playing the game.
Oh, yeah.
And selfishly, like if you play the game and you watch videos, I get 1/100th of a penny extra in ad revenue. So I'm incentivized to keep people playing the game and keeping them engaged and fun. But also like, when you build relationships with people on Discord or in game or on stream or something like that, and then they end up quitting because, they're not having fun, it's kind of hard regardless. And so that's why I came up with the time, money, and will to live as the three dimensions of what you should do when you consider farming something. Is like, there's a real negative to doing something for a long period of time and not having fun with it. And so I kind of prioritize people being able to do everything in the game and having fun and building after that as kind of my core philosophy recently.
No, man. That's a lot better than what I tell people.
Will to live.
That's what I ran cross country and track, so like punishing myself.
Me too.
Oh, there you go. What events?
I did the 2, the 4, 4x4, and 4x1.
Oh, you were a sprinter. You're one of those guys.
Yeah, I tried to do cross country. I did a couple 800s, and I did one cross country race, and I hated it.
So I was an 800 guy. Should have been like 15, but I ran cross country all through college. Like it was, yeah. But that taught me a lot about like what I can put myself through, and so all of a sudden farming a GL for 9 months was like, whatever. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but this is a game, you know what I mean? Like, no one ever actually enjoys track and field, I've noticed.
I enjoyed it. I had fun when I did it.
Yeah, that's a lie. You hated it.
Nah, all of my like friends, like all the guys that like I were groomsmen at my wedding were all guys that I ran track with, except for my brother who hates running.
Well, maybe I just hated it more than everyone else did.
Should run the 8 more.
I ran it a couple times, and it was like me and like all of the actual like 800 guys. And I remember like destroying them so badly at this one like college meet. And I was like, what is going on? Like, am I not doing this race right? Why are they so far behind me? I crossed the finish line, like turn around, and they're like 150 meters behind me. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then I talked to them afterwards. I'm like, am I just like so much better than everyone here? Like all the Davis people and all the Berkeley people were there. I'm like, am I just better than you guys? And like, no, dude, we got to run the 5K and the 10K after this. Like, you know what I mean? Like we just did the steeplechase. Like we're tired, man. We just finished the steeplechase. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I was injured that day, so they're like, just jog an 800 and then you're done for the day. So of course I went balls to the wall.
Yeah, you have to.
I was like, man, am I just a god? Should I be doing long distance this whole time? And like, no, dude, we have to run steeple 5, 10K, and 800, and then probably sneak into the 4x4, even though we can only do 4 events. I'm like, oh well, that explains it.
Yep.
Kind of crushed my soul, man. I was very sad. Will to live was in an all-time low that day.
Yeah, getting on the line. You know how the 400 was created. The devil.
People?
You ever hear this joke that the devil told a man to go run around the track once, and then he said, "I'll one up you and do it twice," and that was how the 800 was invented.
Nice. Yeah. No. I hate the 4x4, dude. The 400 was fine because I was always good at it and I never really got tired. But the 4x4 at the end of the meet, I would always be like, "Oh, coach, my ankle hurts. I'm hurt. I can't do it." And he's like, "All right, go do it." You got to anchor the 4x4, and then like there's like thousands of people staring at you, and you're like, "Oh my god,
Dude,
do I really have to like shoulder check this guy from Chico like just to get the inside lane so that I can win this?" And I'm like, it's not worth it.
Dude, I pulled my hamstring as a freshman twice in the 400 at our indoor championships and like mid-season outdoor, and I think I ran like one more 400 the rest of my college career. Just stuck with the 8. It was horrible.
It's always been told to me that it's the worst event because it's the longest sprint.
Yeah, it's. I've never been in more pain than in the last 100 meters of a 400, hands down.
No, it's really weird. I actually love the end of the 400. Like, I don't really like. I don't know. Maybe I was just too evil to like ever really get tired. But like, I would always jog. You know how you're supposed to like go all out the first 200 and then just like survive.
Yeah.
I would always jog the first 200 to be like in line with everyone else, and then go crazy the last 200. Oh. And I always enjoy that way more. I'd always get yelled at by coach like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, dude, I just like hate running. So I'd be like, "Oh, can I like not be tired for this first part?" And then just like, I'll just go crazy at the last 200 to win, and then I'll just like fake an injury and go home or something like that.
I always used to start in lane 1 because I was a distance guy, so it didn't like being in the middle of the track did nothing for me. I needed to see everyone, and I just watched everybody run away from me for the first 200 meters, and then it was me playing catch up the last 200 and hope I could get them.
I also did inside lane, but for a different reason. I always told people that I prefer the inside lane for 2 reasons. One, because you start last and you finish first, but also you're closer to the cameras. So every week in like the newspaper, when they like, you know, the newspaper would post all the college stuff, and there'd be like in the sports section, there'd always be like a picture of you, like front page on the sports section on the inside lane, like everyone's behind you, but you're like really close to the camera, and you like give them a little smile or something. That's why I did track, just for all of the newspaper clippings that I have somewhere in my attic.
I don't think there's many newspaper clippings of us.
Hey, Boopy. All right, we're gonna do a cameo of Boo Boo Bear. 1 second.
That sounds good. Come here, Boo Boo Bear.
Ugh.
Oh,
I can't hear you because my headphones are off. But this is Mr. Boo.
Oh my goodness.
Boo Boo Bear. I'm gonna say a bad word. His nickname, Boo Boo. You have to look at the camera. His nickname is Mr. Dick and Balls. Mr. Dick and Balls.
Zeus, come here. Come here. Come here. Do I have to get you out of your crate? Hold on. Come here. Come here.
All right, he's camera shy. You can only see his ears. All right, bye bye. All right, I can hear you again. I think that's a great place to end the video. Mr. Boo Boo Bear says good night, everyone.
I don't know if you can see this one, but I've got Zeus here with me. He's our husky.
I don't know why I can't see your...
But he...
Yeah, I don't think you're sharing your screen for some reason.
Of course not. But he is... Let me click this. I don't know where this is. I can't find it, but Zeus is on screen. Oh, hold on, buddy. Don't rip my headphones out.
Don't worry, I'll see him on YouTube.
But man, I think we wrapped that up, man. And I don't know
Oh
about you,
yeah.
but like I don't edit, so like this whole thing is
I
going
don't
on.
edit either.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Cool, dude. Well, anything you want to say last?
I mean, we've been talking for an hour, so probably not. I don't have any. I'll give you redemption to do a weird sound.
Oh gosh, no way. That's just not.
I'll,
I'm not good at
I'll
weird.
do a cameo weird sound. Ready? You're gonna end the video after I just. There you go. Now you can end the video.